shit indeed.
Oh shit indeed. Welcome to Desert World Podcast, episode 002.
2, we've made it to 2! Yes! Success! Yes!
Yeah, as ever, I'm Greg.
I'm Richard.
And on this week's podcast, we have Reading, Watching, Playing. As ever, we have this week's topic, which is zombies. Are we now flogging an undead horse with zombies?
An undead horse. See what we did?
Yeah. And the debate is movie reboots. Good or bad? You can decide.
Well, I will decide for you.
Good
Maybe.
or bad. Yeah, so, and we'll start with a little bit about our comic.
Aye.
So let's crack on.
Very good. By the way, if you notice a difference in the audio quality, you're paying too much attention.
Yep.
And it's in a bigger room this time, so it's a wee bit echoey.
Yeah, we bought a new house with the money we made from the first podcast. So crack on! Get a ding!
Right, so that's moving on to our next section, which, if you remember from last time, you're a genius, and we love you for actually listening to it.
Yeah.
This is Reading, Watching, Playing, which, as you remember from last time as well, is a section which would work a lot better with 3 people, but seeing as there's only 2 of us,
Again,
for now,
Tommy.
Then we're gonna go for 2 this week, and we're gonna spin that imaginary wheel again. Except this time the wheel. Well, Greg, on you go.
My wheel might sound like a kazoo. Oh, I got playing. And this week I've been playing Far Cry 4.
Well, just to interrupt a second there. That's the kazoo being retired as well.
Okay.
It's not. So you've been playing playing Far Cry 4.
Enjoying it immensely. Well, yes.
Well, that's the question you should ask yourself first and foremost.
I should have thought about that. Yes, I am. If you haven't played it or heard of it, then what the fuck have you been doing? But it's essentially it's not a sequel to Far Cry 3. It's a sort of standalone game, if you like. It doesn't follow on from the story at all.
So could you say that it's rebooted?
No, it's not. It does what Final Fantasy does. It's a different story every single time. It's not a reboot.
Right. Okay.
Try to segue that in. Essentially, the concept of it is you play a character called AJ Galley,
or
I think that's how you used to pronounce his name. I don't really know.
Or AJ Gale, if you're a bit of a Philistine.
AJ Gale. Yeah, and essentially your mum's died, and her last wish is for you to go back to her homeland of Karat and spread her ashes. And that's essentially it. But when you get there, it turns out that your uncle, who's the main villain in the game, no spoilers there, is a guy called Pagan Min, and he is essentially a dictator.
It's voiced by Troy Baker.
Yeah, it's brilliant. The first scene in it, when you first meet him, I thought, because the bad guy in Far Cry 3, I'm sure his name was Vaz. He's awesome. Have you played Far Cry 3?
Never. No.
He was amazing. Like, he was just like a total psychopath. And then when I seen this guy, I was like, when you see him, like, he was like an purple suit and has like funny hair and that. I thought he just looks like a shit Joker. That's what it looked like. And
it looks like a Joker if he's washed all of his makeup off.
Aye, and I was just like, I don't know. But when you first met him, I thought, yeah, I like him. He's already cool.
Yeah, I found that he was quite charismatic.
Yeah, he
seems exceptionally charismatic, I should say. He
talks with his hands a lot as well, which is quite strange for a video game. I thought he's quite unique, I think.
Yeah,
I think he's good.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it turns out that again, no spoilers is the actual concept. It turns out that you are like the son of. Your dad was like the leader of a thing called the Golden Path, which is essentially like a rebellion against his dictatorship.
It's not. Is it like a resistance group? It's a rebellion, definitely.
Yeah, it's a rebellion. It's essentially it's a rebellion group, but they're the goodies, if you like.
Aye. So you take part as part of the Golden Path, and you start to make your way up the ranks, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But although quite quickly. It's like, go and kill a boar. You go and kill like a wolf and a boar, and they like come back and you're like, you're a king now.
Go and save a monastery.
An interesting thing about it actually was I completed the game in 15 minutes, which was quite interesting.
So I've started playing this as well, and I spotted absolutely no way that you could do that. I don't know how you did it.
It's very subtle. I don't really want to say how I've done it.
Well, that's fine. Don't.
Right, fine. I fucking want it. But you can do it. You can do it. And it takes literally no effort to do. Well.
Well, I completely missed that out. But I mean, if you listeners find out how to do that. Let us know if you found out as well. And
I know how to do it. I'm just going to say that because I've done it.
Right, well, so is that for you when you were listening back to this?
Yeah, so I keep contact but yeah, essentially, well, basics of it, it's a first-person shooter. Like I say, if you play Far Cry 3, it's essentially the same game, just reskinned, which isn't a bad thing for me, although when I first started playing it again, because I've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto, the controls were just... I couldn't get used to the controls. I was like, this is mental.
There are tons of buttons.
And the driving handles, like all the vehicles handle like a wheelchair on a staircase. Fucking terrible.
I'll stick up for it in a little bit. I love the fact that there's an auto drive function.
Aye. There was an auto drive function. The thing is, they added that in because can you imagine trying to drive and shooting that? That'd be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
like in Far Cry 3, I ended up getting like chased by folk and like sort of parking my car and getting out and shooting and then getting back in and then driving away again. But it's good. I mean, like it's got the basics from Far Cry 3. It's got like hunting, like you need to hunt and skin animals to use their meat as like bait.
Fake animals in an unimagined world. Unimagined? No, it's absolutely imagined. In an imaginary world.
Yes. So no one died or anything making it. Well, not that I know of.
A lot of pixels.
A lot of pixels, yeah. But it's like I say, hunting, a lot of crafting elements in it. There's talent trees in it. It's a first-person shooter. You can do it all different ways. But one thing they have added, which is quite nice, haven't really taken full advantage of it yet, is a co-op function. So basically there's 24 bases in the game to take over, and you can do it with a friend. You can basically get someone else come and help you, or you can join their game or whatever. And apparently it's quite seamless. So it's like not like it's like matchmaking and all that sort of stuff. Like you invite them and they join. They just
fantastic
random appear, which is quite smart when going out of it. One thing I did want to say about it though is, I suppose a negative thing. This game should essentially be called Being Killed by Animals at fucking annoying times.
Oh my god, I know, but it's amazing. It's an amazing feature. They've got so many animals in it, and you can just be killed in jungles like that.
Put it this way, right? I was taking over this base, bow and arrow, being stealthy. I was being like, what's her face for the Hunger Games, right? But with less boobage.
Katniss Everdeen.
Right. So I was being like her, and I was like, the guy, killed him with my bow and arrow, and I killed another guy with bow and arrow. I got in with a few bodies, doing quite well. I heard this like growling, and I was like, what the fuck's that? And I turned round, and there was a tiger right beside me, and it ate me, right? And I was like, fine. So,
screw you, tiger!
I respawned, went in exactly the same way, and I think, where the fuck's this tiger, eh? Oh, he's not there, right, fine. So I climbed up on top of a building, so I climbed up on top of this big shed, and I had the tiger, and I thought, right, where is he? Turned round, and he's up beside me, on top of this building, and he ate me. So the third time, I went in, I climbed up the building again, killed a few guys, and I heard a tiger, and I thought, right, not this time. So I whipped out a machine gun, and I thought, right, I'm taking him. Where is he? Turned round, he's not there. Turned back around, and he was floating in midair, right in front of me. It was like he wasn't able to jump up the building, so he just floated up in a straight line. And I was like, it must be a glitch. He's floating. And then it fucking hit me.
It's just a flying tiger.
It's a flying
which you obviously get in karate.
It's a flying tiger. So after that, I was like, I'm putting it off. But no,
fair enough.
But it is a good game. It's a really good game. I'd recommend it if you haven't played it. Like it's...
No, I've started playing it as well, and I can completely back that up. I think it's brilliant. There's a couple of little features that I really liked, was being able to ride elephants.
Yeah, that's quite smart. That's quite cool.
Like you can charge it. You can charge at cars and run over people and stuff like that. Literally run over people and stuff like that.
The tigers shut up. The elephants gave no pushback. You just got to them and climb on top of them.
Well, exactly. They're your pals. So.
But and then it's like you can talk to other elephants, which I didn't get. You can like press a button and like attract more elephants. I was like, surely if you're sitting on top of an elephant, the first thing the elephant's going to do is get the fuck off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily for us, this is a video game.
It's got flying tigers.
So. Flying tigers, and the other thing that I really liked about it is the bow and arrow. I'm all up for stealth. I love that. But yeah, it's all in all. I mean, it's next gen, isn't it? So it's just PS4 and Xbox One, is it?
I don't know actually. I don't know.
Well,
I couldn't confirm that.
Well, I mean, it is out.
It is out.
And it's very much worthwhile playing.
Cool. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But yeah, get it. It's quite good.
So alright, okay. Well, we'll move on to what I'm doing, and I'm going to spin my imaginary wheel, which I've replaced this week with a little harmonica. So here we go. Very
Good. Right.
Yeah, so there we go, and that's that retired as well. So I've been watching, and I've just finished watching The Office US.
Oh,
which it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
big fan of it.
Huge fan of it. Yeah. I only started watching it recently because when it came out, you got a lot of the chat back when it started in like 2005 saying, "Oh, it'll never be as good as the British one. Oh, Ricky Gervais is a genius. How are they going to adapt that to America?" Yeah. No, that's not going to happen. Couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
I'd agree that one because like I say, I've watched this as well, but I hated the British Office.
Oh yeah.
I don't particularly. I'm not a huge fan of Ricky Gervais stuff.
That method of humour didn't have any right to work really in an American sitcom because it's a different flavour of comedy altogether. I don't think the US is particularly well renowned for cringy, horrible. Oh my god, this is so
like
uncomfortable behaviour.
They tried to make a US In-Betweeners. Oh
yeah, and
don't watch it.
Nah, it's shocking. But this one didn't have any right to work, and it absolutely did. The Michael Scott, who is the US version of David Brent, is absolutely hilarious. He's just this. He's a manager of an office in a place called Scranton of a paper company, and he thinks he's like God's gift to management and God's gift to him as employees, but he's just most 90% of the time he's bumbling, like incompetent.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, and unintentionally hilarious as well. And there's just some of the stuff that he comes out with that is just. It's hilarious. It's like, I mean, he does have a good range of it. I mean, it's sometimes like with all of the other characters, and it is a character-rich show. You get to know a lot of these characters a lot more in depth than you did in the UK Office, where it was just a few characters, and it was like I can't remember the names, but the UK versions of Jim and Pam. I think it was Gareth. I think it was Mackenzie Crook that played. That was Gareth. He's like the version of Dwight.
All right.
And so there's like the Jim and Pam element, who really heartwarming couple of actors to watch. Dwight, who's
just brilliant.
The most like he's just got the most uncomfortable, awkward style of humour as well. It's just like you literally don't know what he's going to say. You know roughly where he's going with it, but it never. You can't predict his next lines. They're so ridiculous.
I find it funny when you said that. Like, he is essentially a really unpredictable character because he does all this random stuff. But at the same time, there's characters in the show like Jim and whatever, and you can also get as an audience as well when you watch him. You know how he's going to react to a certain situation. Like, you know how to wind him up. Mm-hmm. Even though he's unpredictable, they still know what he's going to do. And then if you see a situation arise and you think, "Oh, Dwight's going to make this worse," essentially, you know what he's going to do essentially. But
yeah, exactly.
It's good fun. One thing you did text me the other day and say you'd finished watching it, and you said it was amazing from start to finish. I've been watching season 8, and season 8's been a bit of a slog.
Well, I'll come on to it there. Season 8 is. I mean, it's been over for a year now, so I think this is spoiler-free territory because we can say it. But Michael Scott ends up, who's Steve Carell's character, ends up leaving the show for reasons that we won't divulge. And another character is put in his place as manager, and then they bring in James Spader's character, Robert California, who's an odd character, at very least, sort of takes over the office, and they see it seems to be like inconsistent here a little bit, more glued together there. But the more you keep watching it, and this will be a controversial point, the more you keep watching it, the more you forget Michael Scott was ever there, because you get so invested in all the other characters. Like, Michael Scott was obviously a dominant part of the office, but as soon as he's taken out of it, you get all these other characters that you've just thought to yourself, actually, what's this person do now? So you've got guys like the like the top tier, like your Jim and Pam, you get a lot more of them, a lot more of Dwight, a lot more of Andy, a lot more of Daryl, who comes right into it as well. There's another tier of characters, like there's all the sort of background characters that are just, I suppose, just funny one-liner type people.
Yeah, but I suppose like when you're listening to characters, like everyone kind of has their moments in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things. I always forget people aren't like Creed. Like Creed never gets really used very much, but every now and again he has like a genius line.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's kind of how it works. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if they meant it or intentional or whatever, but it's kind of like at an office. You might get someone who maybe one day says something really funny and then you never see them again for fucking ages.
Yeah, precisely.
But one thing I'll say about it though is Catherine Tate annoys the fuck out of me in the
really?
show. I don't particularly find her funny either. So
I don't like
I'm just waiting for her to leave, so that I can start enjoying it again.
You're going to be waiting until the end of the show then, because
man.
she's not that, she's good. She, like her character Nellie, again, she's one of these sort of third tier characters. She's not in an awful lot, but there's times where she's really funny as well, and everybody has their moments, and that's why I think that it has a lot of, it's had so much success, is that it's succeeded in all of those areas where you know, you would expect it to fail. Like occasionally it's failed to the point where you'd wonder if the people who watched an episode or two were right and you're watching the wrong show. But I think if you stick with it and you get the humour, then stick with it until the end of it, because you've got no reason not to carry on watching it. It makes, another reason for the success is that the show made working in an office look vaguely fun. I mean, like, nobody wants to be there, but the characters made a career of what they had, and they stuck by each other, and in the end they became this big family. And
it's not really like that in an office, is it?
It's not like that in an office, but it's nice to see something like that. And I'll go out on a limb and say I'm really happy that with the way it ends as well, because there's so many things now that have like ambiguous or sad endings, and everybody has their moment by the end of The Office. And I think that's, like, for a show that has like the perfect mix of like relatable humour, continuity, and just in general great characters, I think that's why it's succeeded as a show, and it's I've really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So it's been really good.
Recommend it highly.
So yeah, absolutely.
Fresh. Get a ding.
Get a ding. Okay, so last time we talked a little bit about our own comic, and just how we started gathering ideas, how we started basically writing our own story, and we're gonna go for something different this time. We're gonna go for
structure.
Yeah, a bit of structure, and how you once you've got your ideas, how you come about laying them all out on the table, deciding what should be where, and how basically we decided to do that.
One thing to do though, sorry I cut you off there, man, is
I don't need to talk
again. Again, this is purely amateur advice. If
don't
absolutely. Sue us.
Yeah.
If it turns out that you've put years of work into this and it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you decide to sue us, then like good luck finding us, because we'll still be where we are.
Yeah,
you're listening to this.
Honestly,
yeah. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. Aye. Maybe we'll be in the Bahamas.
Aim for the stars. That's what I say.
Good. Aye.
Just now.
Right. So first thing, as you have not on my notes written down in front of me, is a Bible.
Aye. So this is so what we did for it. We basically had a notepad, and we wrote down pretty much every single one of our ideas in there. So it almost turned into just pages upon pages of prose, but they were split into separate ideas.
Yeah.
And we ended up writing the story essentially before we started breaking it down into your panels, your dialogue, even your pages, stuff like that. We just wanted to make sure that we had a solid story and we weren't missing any gaps, so that when we came to doing pages, this, that and the other thing, we'd be able to like just go seamlessly between ideas. So we called it our Bible for
no religious reasons.
For absolutely no religious reasons. No, I mean, yeah, we've got. I mean, the Bible is full of stories anyway, isn't it?
That's all made up anyway, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So,
can I say that?
So well, you've already said it.
Oh, shit.
That's what I was trying to say.
But also, it was a way of, like, once we actually, because like we said last time in the middle of post-it notes, if we had maybe like 5 or 6 endings or 5 or 6 ideas for the middle, this was a way of like not finalising it, but getting an idea where you were going.
That's so you're wanting to make sure where you know where you're going with the comic, where you're going, and like at least have an idea of how you want it to end. Like we said last time, we went back and changed our ending, but you know, even if you've got a starting point, it doesn't mean you can't go back and change it. So having that story from beginning to end really helped us to just to get our ideas in place when we wanted to decide on how to begin writing it. So the next step that we took was deciding on a length and how we wanted to split the issues. And even
I mean that's the thing. If it's a webcomic, then you can just do kind of, I don't know. Usually webcomics are it's usually shorter. But we decided to try and go for sort of traditional, if you like, paper based. So it was like 24-page issues. And then we decided how long will it be. So we decided from 5 issues.
Yeah.
We decided.
Oh yeah, 5. The first one was 5.
5 issues. Yeah. And then when we tried to write that, we thought this is crazy. So we made the next one 3.
Yeah.
And then what we done was essentially then had to look at it and say, right, where's your natural cliffhangers and how can you break it up into 5 issues? You don't just want to like do what like movies are doing nowadays, where they get like a book split in the middle and go, it's 2 films. You actually want to have a sort of like a mini ending for each issue, I suppose, or your cliffhanger.
Yeah. So we decided that we wanted to go for like a paper-based format, and that was, I think that was born from just when we started to write it anyway. I mean, it was in about, I think it was the end of 2011, the start of 2012 that we started writing it, because no, it must have been before. It was about, I think it was maybe midway through 2011.
So long.
I know. What year is it now? 2015. It takes this long as well if you're us. I mean, you can write it a lot quicker. I went down to Kapow Comic Con, which is in London. It was Mark Miller's convention, and I was listening to a talk by a bunch of guys from Marvel in New York, and it was Joe Quesada, one of the head honchos at Marvel, who said that they're looking to go to web based.
It's all digital based.
Digital based now. No. So you know, if it's really up to you how you want to do it, but it's at least have an idea before you start. Not like us.
We found it the hard way.
We found it the hard way, but you know.
So I suppose basically the other thing we've got written down next is once you've decided basically the beginning, middle and end of your story, and then you've decided how many issues you want to make it, and again just break it down further and then break it down each individual issue, break that down
where you left off.
Break that down and decide like how many scenes you want in it, and then so we done page breakdowns. So we decided that like maybe there's going to be 4 scenes per issue, say, and then we maybe said like the first scene's like 3 pages long and that one's 5, and then done that, and then that give you like a really good starting point for actually when you come to panel it, because you know that if you're overrunning on 1 page, you'll have to either cut it down or make room for it, essentially. Maybe cut it, because I think the first issue of the very first issue of The Plight was like, we were like, we'll have this idea and this idea and this idea, and then when we come to the page breakdown, we're like, okay, this is a 15 panel page.
And there is tons of dialogue as well, so essentially what it's going to be is our characters peeping out from behind word bubbles.
That was essentially it.
But
you might find that as well when you start doing it. You might think, okay, fair enough, I've got like maybe a 6 panel page here and I've got like loads of dialogue on it, and then when you actually come to, we thought it looked fine on paper, and then when we got somebody to actually write it and tried to put it all together, we're like, this is never going to fit. So never. Just be mindful of that as well. If you're doing the dialogue, which we'll cover in another podcast, if you're going to be doing the dialogue, bear in mind that you need to have space in your panels for the actual images that you want drawn, because you can't have this. You can't have a huge big action scene where it's meant to be, the focus is meant to be on what the characters are doing rather than saying, and have them giving a speech
at the same time, because like, by and large,
what we done
exactly. And again, we learned the hard way, and it's you're gonna have a bad time, basically.
All right, okay.
South Park reference there.
You got it.
So it's largely what this part about is. It's breaking down an idea into small pieces so that you can put them back together.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I guess you could say it's kind of like a jigsaw, or is it like the old phrase, how do you eat an elephant? Bit by bit.
Oh, right. Bit by bit.
Bit by bit. So you've got a huge big thing, a huge big idea. You got a pike and a chainsaw.
A blender and a straw.
That's how we've approached it.
You're just breaking it all down, man. That's it. That's essentially it. The thing is, though, that I always kind of felt that kind of work, because it was like, it kind of feels like you're making decent progress as well. Because if you have like one scene, if you break it down and be like the first 3 pages are going to be a scene, and then once you kind of like do that, put an end to that scene, if you like,
yeah, it
kind of feels like you're like, okay, that scene's airtight. I like that. I'm not going to change it again. You might come back to change it eventually, like we tweaks and whatever. But once that's down, it's kind of done. Like, you know what I mean? And then we start counting our pages. So we done 24 pages, for example. Once the first 5 pages were on, we're like, right, that's it. We've got 19 to go. How are we going to fit all in? And you're always just rejigging it all the time.
Well, that's it. I mean, some of your ideas, you will have expected them to last a lot longer or be a lot shorter than they actually end up. And again, it's a case of not being afraid to sacrifice a bit of space here and there to make your ideas work. It's all about making it work for you. It's all about making it work for whoever you're writing with, and it's all about making it work for whoever you intend to be reading it. If you look at it back, it might not necessarily read the same way to somebody who doesn't know what you're trying to say as well. So it's being mindful of the other side as well.
So that's also like your panel descriptions. We can come on to that later on, like a different podcast. But yeah, panel descriptions are massive.
Oh yeah.
Like a man went through the shops. Right, okay.
Nope.
Draw that. Aye.
No, what was he wearing? Was that important? Where's he going? Blah blah blah. We'll come to that in another podcast. But for now.
Yeah, that's that. Aye, get writing. I'll wait actually until we've done more of these, then start writing.
Do it now.
Okay, if I could do it now.
Get a pen and paper.
Get a pen.
Or a pencil and paper.
So
do it right now.
Are we calling?
Do it right now.
Are we calling ding on this?
Yeah, we are.
Ding on this. Okay, so today's topic is zombies. Flogging an undead horse.
Undead horse, I like it.
See what I done there, that was actually unintentional. Yeah. So, yeah, recently zombies are everywhere. Yeah. Absolutely everywhere.
It's a new craze.
Any kind of media, you'll find zombies.
Anything.
And we're asking, I suppose that's not a debate on that, it's just an open question, an open topic, is have they had their time?
Yeah. There's obviously cases for and cases against. Like, as
I went quite what's the word I'm looking for?
You went right down the middle, basically.
That's that. I couldn't think of the word. I basically went for. I thought no, they have not the time. And thought I'd have. And no, I have no. I'd have.
Well, I mean, if we'll start off then with TV, like The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Apparently it's the biggest show in the world. Apparently.
Biggest show in the world.
Apparently.
And occasionally the most disappointing show in the world.
But yeah, I still watch every week.
Yeah, exactly. Because
rush home football, sit and watch Walking Dead.
Because you're just waiting for something to happen most of the time.
Yeah.
And largely none of it's to do with zombies.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's what kind of makes it quite good. Because sometimes when the zombies come into it, like there was an example, this isn't a spoiler, but there's an example where there's a character who essentially leaves the safe zone, runs out, looks left, nothing, looks right, nothing, looks left, nothing, looks right, and there's a zombie eating his face, and you're like, what happened there?
Are they stealthy now? Like, I mean,
man, that's a good point, and this is what I was writing this, and this is what like just won it for me, was the fact that people, for example, Call of Duty introduced zombies. It done that just because wanted something different. To be honest, kind of saying it came out. I'm sure it was a World at War, which actually wasn't that good a Call of Duty game, and they thought, fuck zombies, put zombies in. Everyone loves zombies, and the zombie world became huge.
Yeah.
But now this Call of Duty, which I've not played, but zombies have got like I think they've got like backpacks and stuff, and like bionic legs and shit, so they can like run, they can jump, and they can. And what I'm asking is, for me, have zombies had their day because now people are having to try and change them because the normal zombie is done.
Aye, that's it. And yeah, I mean, like there was a craze to begin with where they were just kind of, they were like the in thing, and then it plateaued, and then it seemed to level out for a bit, and then it just got bigger, and then it's took us onto this kind of ridiculous shit where they've just sort of said like, it's got to a point now where it is, zombies are a standard thing.
Yeah.
And you've got stuff like, I can't remember the author's name, and I can't remember the name of the book, which is probably a good thing, so I can't recommend it to anybody. It was like a zombie love story that was made into a film as well, of Nicholas Hoult.
Warm Bodies, isn't it?
Oh, don't say the name of
Sorry,
it.
man.
Don't sully our podcast with the name of that shit. It was that was one of the most terrible books I've ever read. It was shocking, and the idea of it now is just of having like a zombie love story where like a person falls in love with a zombie, and I'm going to spoil it for you, everyone. It culminates in like a human living person kissing an undead zombie and bringing the zombie back to life, because all it needed was love's true kiss to bring it back to life, and that is shite.
That is shite.
Fucking nonsense. And then it's moved on to stuff like Call of Duty now having the bionic legs, and it's we're at zombie parkour games now.
Yep.
Dying Light coming out.
Yep.
And
Left 4 Dead was like that. Left 4 Dead had zombies running, jumping, like pouncing on people, stuff like that. Left 4 Dead was actually really good fun.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time, I think now that zombies have crossed the line to the sense of, I was going to almost say, now they're so unrealistic. But now that they can like run and jump and climb, and in some books, I'm pretty sure it's City of the Dead, I can't remember who writes it, they talk. And they can use weapons, and I'm like, they're not zombies, they're just people.
Yeah, I know.
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit, I'm done with that.
Yeah, and is it becoming like a theme now where it just needs a rest? Is it becoming old quickly, or is it even just becoming annoying where you can sit and say, oh, it's a new zombie thing, but what kind of zombie is it? I mean, is it like a zombie that can run? Is it like one of your normal standard zombies? Is it like a new breed of zombies? Is it infected? Is it literally dead? Is it this, that, and the other thing? And is it like,
I suppose like that's kind of like what you, like 28 days later, and people are saying, oh, zombies can't run. People are like, well, they're not zombies, they're infected. You're like,
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, no, I agree with that to an extent, but at the same time, it's like 28 days later I quite liked it.
It was a good film.
It's quite a good film, but you're right, it's not a zombie film.
Yeah,
it really is it.
But it's not though, because it's not because they're infected with the rage virus, and because this is the thing, because I think the remake of Dawn of the Dead, when they can run about, people have just associated running zombies with that kind of thing.
Fire.
Just ignore that. It's, yes. It's the arrival of some food. We'll go over that. But it's it's moved on now to being just part of pop culture, and like, as we started off with, as we pointed, as you've put at the start, it's just leaking into absolutely everything.
Doesn't even need to have it. Like, there was a game came on iPhone. It was like, download this game, blah blah. And it was basically like, you were like a guy who just lived in a house, and you went to the shops and bought some clothes and bought some food, but you were a zombie. Everyone was zombies, and you bought zombie clothes, and it's like, doesn't add anything.
Aye,
people are just putting it in for the fucking sake of it.
Yeah,
it annoys me.
Yeah, I've just been in Centre Parks for a week. Not that it's got anything to do with zombies, but I was speaking to my girlfriend's brother's girlfriend, and they've just her brother's girlfriend and I have just had a baby together, and she was reading her daughter a book one night, and she had to stop herself because she, like, part of this book that looked so sweet just suddenly had zombie grannies in it. And you kind of think to yourself, like, what? What is it? Just, have you just put it there because it's a buzzword now, or is it?
To be honest, man, it kind of sounds like from now we're kind of going against zombies, but at the same time, man, like, I'm still reading The Walking Dead, and I'm still
watching
loving it. I'm still watching it.
And
one thing I will say as well, the one thing to go back to sort of against it was, one thing that kind of almost killed it for me was when they turned World War Z into a film.
oh my god,
Because I really enjoyed the book, but the film was garbage.
Oh,
absolutely garbage.
It was rubbish.
The thing is though, a lot of folk like my dad really liked the film. He liked it. My sister liked it. Obviously my sister's never read the book because she doesn't do that sort of thing. And like her boyfriend and that, they all liked the film, and I thought I was maybe one of those hipster guys being like, oh, it's not as good as the book, so I'm going to go against it.
But it genuinely wasn't.
Then I sat and watched it and thought, no, this is just shit.
It's just rubbish.
Genuinely a shit movie.
Yeah, and the fact that they had to change that film so many times to, like, I'm sure they changed the ending and they
just changed the script so that Brad Pitt was the hero.
Yeah,
there's not a fucking hero. Like, read the book.
Yeah, I think the point that we'll try and make there for World War Z is, like, if you haven't read it or watched it, just dispense with watching it and just read the book.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
It's far better.
But in saying that, when zombies are done well, they're done really well.
They are done. Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Not so much the recent ones, but like I remember playing the first Resident Evil game, and I was like, this is terrifying. I was like 12 or something when it came out, but. Yeah. They were done so well. Like Resident Evil 2, when they're in the street and they're all walking towards you in the street, but they're walking really slow and you feel powerless because the controls are terrible. But I don't know, like, that was done really well. I like that. That's all great.
Isn't that like the very start of Resident Evil? I think it's the first one when you're in that mansion, and because because the zombie thing hadn't really been done on that sort of scale by then. It's that first scene where you see
the boys getting eaten.
Yeah, and the zombie's hunched over him, and he just turns his head around, and you see like half of his face, and you realise, oh my god, it's a zombie! Holy shit!
And it looks like Richard O'Brien.
It is, and that's what he was doing his career since Crystal Maze. He's a zombie now, which is good. But yeah, we're like this. This isn't us saying that we're completely against it. There's plenty of good still left in the idea, and like one of the things that just keeps on giving it life. Pun not
giving it life. Oh, I really like it.
Is that like the idea of zombies is just, it can be so close to reality because it is human. Like some of these ideas are becoming feasible now. Like with the outbreak of Ebola, I'm sure somebody released a very convincing story that somebody had contracted Ebola, died, and then came back to life.
Ebola was used as, I think I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Ebola was used as the premise for Resi 5 in Africa.
There you go.
They used the Ebola virus as the virus that spread. Yeah. Which, when you look at it now, man, everyone's getting infected.
Well, and that's it, and we're
and no one really knows how or why.
And this is how zombie outbreaks start. You think
man,
to yourself,
I would love if a zombie outbreak came.
And that's another thing. Yeah.
Do you know what? Here's another thing. Like, if zombie outbreak happened in real life, and I would manage to somehow survive, I don't think I would, but if I managed to somehow survive, and I was outside and a zombie came running at me, I'd be done with it. I'd be like, nah, this isn't real.
This isn't real. I must be dreaming because they fucking can't run.
They can't run.
So I'm up to you. I've figured out your tricks. Whoever's doing this. So oh my god!
Pause. Exit. Not having this.
There's the story of the guy who he like snorted bath salts or something in LA.
Yeah, man.
And he took an extreme like a hugely extreme reaction to it and ate someone's face or something like that, and the police had to shoot him dead. But when
they actually built it as like the LA zombie or whatever it was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And there was part of you, whilst that was an absolutely horrible thing to happen, you start thinking to yourself, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's happening! Oh my god, it's happening! I mean, you know, it's because it's like that, and it's becoming feasible. And the things, it's like a fascinating. It's a fascinating idea and a fascinating premise that has just got like unending opportunities to be creative, which is what we've touched on at the start there.
The thing is, it's also one of the things that's got its grown arms and legs. Like, going with this as well is the fact that, and because it's now so popular, you do get other things that you've done. You went to that zombie experience thing.
That was wicked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just a good. It's almost like for me, it's like a really, really popular sort of B movie thing. Like B movies are really, really big. Yeah. Zombies can be done on a huge budget, whereas like things like giant monsters, you're like, no, that's shit.
To touch on that, the zombie experience that I went to, which was called 2.8 Hours Later, I'm sure they've got a Twitter.
It's not technically zombies though, it's infected. Come on.
It is zombies, but I'm sure they've got a Twitter and website, so look them up. It's a really good experience. But you wouldn't get like a vampire run or like a Frankenstein run or a werewolf run because they'd just kind of be shit because because they can obviously run and like vampires can talk and werewolves are just they're going to chase you down and maul you anyway. With zombies, if you run past them, that's fine, but if you're in like an enclosed area. And they did this as part of it. Like you go into this warehouse and you have to follow this guy who's in full body armor and stuff like that. And it's like a storage container unit, so it's gridded. And that guy ends up getting eaten. And then you have to make your way out of this thing while the zombies are like pouring in to each of the little corridors. You just it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And like if that was a real thing, it would make you absolutely shit your pants. And that it's believable in that sense, and it's believable to feel that fear. It's just it doesn't feel like you could really realistically do that with any other creature or monster. Yeah,
I mean, it's a whole brainwashing thing, man. It's like. You see folk nowadays, this is getting a bit deep, but you see folk nowadays who are like so in depth in their phones and whatever, like kind of just like sort of so shut out anyway that you're kind of like, well, it's not far from being zombies.
Yeah, exactly. So
if somebody came walking at you with a mobile phone, like, you'd be like, what are you doing?
Well, if a zombie had a mobile phone, you'd kind of be like, well, this is stupid, this isn't real because they can't use mobile phones.
Obviously, it's getting no signal on there, I guess. Right, so man, do we leave it?
Well, I mean, like, if you're listening to this and you have any opinions, let us know. I'd really love to hear what you guys think. This is what we think. It's just a topic we're neither for or against. We're straight down the middle here at Desert Whale HQ, and it's an interesting topic. I mean, it seems like it's an endless base for ideas, but at the same time, I think you have to watch how you're doing them so that you're not ridiculed.
Because a lot of them have been done before.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So many of them.
And I'm sure a lot of other ideas will come in and a lot of them will be done again. But yeah.
Cool. Should we get a ding?
Get a ding.
Get a ding. It's a wee ding.
Okay, so we're moving on to our final section for this podcast, which is the same as last week. We're going to do a wee debate.
A debate.
And the idea of the debate is we're going to choose a subject. One of us is going to argue feverishly for, and the other one is going to argue vehemently against.
And tell them why they're wrong.
Basically, yeah. And we're going to try our best to not let it descend into just an argument that you're going to listen to. So what we've got this week, or this podcast I should say, is the topic of
reboots.
Specifically, film
reboots.
Film reboots. So, we've predetermined who's going to be arguing for and against. I, begrudgingly, I'm going to be doing the arguing for them being great.
And naturally, I'll be doing against.
So
you may start. I'll let you start. I'll give you that privilege.
Cool, thanks very much. Right, okay, so I'm for them. Right, okay, I'm going to start by giving the definition of reboot as taken from Wikipedia.
Right, okay.
In serial fiction, to reboot means to discard all continuity in an established series in order to recreate its characters, timeline and backstory from the beginning. Now, you're not going to sit here and tell me...
Oh, here we go, I know what it's going to be. Right. Start.
You're not going to sit here and tell me that the Green Lantern does not need rebooted. Nobody was happy with that. Only chumps were happy with that.
Only chumps.
let's be honest. That was a god-awful film.
I'll take the first hit in this debate and agree and say, yeah, Green Lantern was terrible.
It was ridiculously bad.
It was quite bad. And they're going to reboot that. They are going to reboot that.
Which is a good thing.
Yes. However...
Yeah. Oh, there's no however to it.
On that note, I will fight back and this will be controversial because a lot of folk will be like, oh, I really liked the Spider-Man movies, the new Spider-Man movies.
The Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, the amazing, or in my case, the below average Spider-Man movies.
The mediocre Spider-Man.
Yeah, no need for them, man. Like, the fact that they actually went back, and like, I know it was a reboot, so they went back and like told you a story again. Mm-hmm. But they only made it, like, how long ago was it Tobey Maguire films were made?
Early 2000s.
Yeah, so like, so I know I can still remember those films, and I can still remember that, and I think they were probably better films. Not the third one. The third one was terrible.
No, the third one was terrible.
But the first Spider-Man movie I think was better than these ones. There was no need for them to make them again. The only reason they made them again is because they need the monies. Because apparently that's like Sony's only, not Sony, is it Sony that owns it?
Yeah, Sony, yeah.
And like, yeah, they only have like pretty much Spider-Man. So they're just cash cowing that. No need for the Spider-Man movies. Cash.
It is only going to be a matter of time though until Sony realise just how much money they could be making if they sold the rights to Spider-Man and back to Marvel Studios and took a cut of whatever they were getting. But for me, those Spider-Man movies were, I think they were needed, and I think Andrew Garfield is actually a decent Spider-Man.
Like, yeah, he is.
He's a lot more.
Doesn't need to be
thinner, a lot sinewy.
Doesn't need to be in it. There's no need for those movies. Also, not only that, right? They're remaking those films, so they remade the Spider-Man movies, but they're not actually going to be part of the Avengers universe. So the movies that are getting rebooted, like the Hulk, that got rebooted because the first one was shit.
The Ang Lee one, yes.
Aye, that was shit.
Garbage.
And they basically rebooted it to make it fit in with the Avengers. Okay, but they're sort of Avengers and like,
too bloody right.
Right? But they can't say that for Spider-Man. They're just rebooting that for no reason whatsoever. By the way, I also think that Hulk shouldn't have been rebooted because I think the reboot of Hulk was also quite rubbish as well.
Well, that's where we're going to disagree and just move on because we could talk about that for ages. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Argue about that for ages. But, right, okay, so, well, with that then, maybe Spider-Man, maybe it didn't need to be rebooted. I didn't have a problem with them necessarily. But, again, there's films, there's characters like Batman, Superman, Captain America, Hulk, who we've touched upon, Spider-Man, who we've touched upon, different things such as Conan the Barbarian, Star Trek, all being rebooted. Fantastic Four is in the process of being rebooted because the 1994 one, I think, garbage. The one from the early 2000s, both of them or three of them or however many they made, shite.
Right, there you go.
So that
this is good. This is good.
That's what needs to be done though. If they're sitting there as garbage and it's all of a sudden getting this like comic book movies are getting all really popular, why not try and bring in absolutely everybody?
What they've essentially done is they've basically had their chance. They made the Fantastic Four movie. It was shite. They made a second one. That was worse. And now they're going to be like, oh, we'll just have another attempt at that. So what happens if these ones are rubbish as well? And like 10 years time, they're going to remake them again and reboot them again. So they're basically having as many chances as they want to make. It's like if someone like say Wolf of Wall Street, I really enjoyed that, but say that was rubbish. Right, 4 years time, be like, just make it again, and we'll just reboot it. Because you'll only notice that most of these reboots only take place for comic book movies. The majority of them are all comic book movies, and comic book movies get out of that because comic books essentially just retell the story, or the word as well is like the reimagination of
reimagining.
Same fucking like the same thing, but like Star Trek, I think got rebooted. I was never really a Star Trek fan.
The Star Trek films were pretty damn good though.
One wasn't that good though, was it?
Nah, it wasn't. Well, the first one was really good though. Like it was reset the timelines for that and reset how old Captain Kirk came to be and stuff like that. Why not try and introduce that to
a younger audience,
a wider audience who might respond more to a bigger, flashier movie that has that sort of franchise.
Why reboot it? Why not just make
sequels?
If you did what Star Wars have done,
right? But if you didn't reboot it, you wouldn't be getting the characters of the characters of Star Trek. You wouldn't be getting Kirk. You wouldn't be getting Spock. You wouldn't be getting Uhura. You wouldn't be getting any of that lot. And like they are Star Trek.
They're in the old films. So if the films are, if you're interested in that, then why not go back and watch the old ones and then like make
why should you have to go back and watch the old ones? Why not try and bring it into why not bring it to now? Why not try and make it more relevant now? Why not try and introduce it? Breathe new life into it.
Fair enough. I take that point. Terminator Salvation, right?
That's rubbish.
Terrible, right? Terminator 1, Terminator 2, great movies. Terminator 3, we'll pie that. Terminator 1 and 2, great movies, right? If somebody was coming and say, oh, I want to get a Terminator, I'd send them back and be like, right, watch Terminator 1 and 2. Don't watch Terminator Salvation, and don't watch this nonsense that's coming out later on that's going to try and like reboot it or whatever the hell it's doing.
What it's doing, Terminator Genesis, which is going to be the fifth in a series, and technically a first as well, is that it's said to be a sequel, prequel, and rebooting the series.
See, that just sounds like they weren't 100% sure how to sell it to you, so they're going to confuse the fuck out of you. So you go in and think, not knowing what's happening. So you can essentially make of it what you will.
Well then, I imagine the plot will be better explained. Then maybe this will happen, maybe that'll happen. Who knows? But that's another one that's been rebooted. There was one like The Grudge. It's not.
Why did you put that? What?
That's one I found on Wikipedia. The Grudge wasn't. I think that's interesting though, because if you look at The Grudge and you think to yourself, it was okay. They're rebooting it now, so they're giving it a second chance, and they're introducing it to a new audience who might not necessarily know of it, and they might not have those links back to an actress like Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was huge when it was made, and you don't have that. You don't have anyone who's associated with it anymore, so it's just disappeared into the ether. So
just think of something new. Think of something new.
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what rebooting is.
No, but it's not original though, is it?
But that's what rebooting is.
No, but it's not new.
But that's what rebooting is.
No. You're saying that okay, it's a new take on something. But
yeah,
it's not
so it's new.
But it's not new. Like something like original. Like what's the new film that the guys that made Matrix are bringing out? It's a completely new sci-fi universe that they've just thought up and it's coming out, right? And it'll probably flop. It will probably flop, but at least they've actually thought up something new, as opposed to being like, let's reboot the Matrix. And like, no, fuck off. We've seen the Matrix. We've seen it before.
But not everybody has that amount of creativity, and you would be fair. Absolutely, it'd be fair enough to say like, don't fucking put anything on my desk then if it's not new. But you're not going to say to somebody, if somebody walks into your office, if you're a big film exec, and says, listen, Green Lantern, it didn't work. It was shite. I don't know how much money it made, but look at how popular this stuff is now. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me you don't want to reboot of that. How about we reboot it, get some more money, introduce it again properly, get a new actor in there, give it a bit of continuity, bring it, allow us to get the same actor who will then be in all like the Dawn of Justice, the DC versions of the Avengers films. Let's try and compete with that. Blah 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 blah. I think it's a good enough idea.
Is that only why it's getting rebooted though? Is that why superhero movies get rebooted? Is because
No, superhero movies are getting rebooted now because superheroes are relevant now.
Yeah, but when Green Lantern came out, I know we're using this as an example. When Green Lantern came out, superheroes were on the up. They were big. They didn't come out at the same time as like Ghost Rider, anything like that. They came out. That come out after Batman?
I don't know.
Came out in between Batman.
I don't know.
And then it basically sounds like what's happened is they made that movie, they fucked up by making it because it was shite, but they need the Green Lantern in order to go on and make the Justice League movies.
Absolutely.
Tie in, so they have to reboot them.
Yeah.
Or they go with Ryan Reynolds, and it's.
But which are not going to.
Oh no.
But that's the thing. It's those two choices. Yes, I understand that it's annoying you. I can hear it. But it's. You've got to look at something like that and say, well, it didn't work the first time. And if something doesn't work the first time, like, why just leave it?
Set on fire and leave it.
Yeah, well, no. Why not give something a second chance? Why not give it a third? Why not just keep on trying until the formula's correct?
Okay, what about this then, right? Got another film that I've written in here that's getting rebooted, and it is a film that worked, right? Jurassic World, because Jurassic Park is a classic film, right?
Is that a reboot? Jurassic World.
It's the reboot. Well,
it's a sequel.
Aye, but they're saying they're rebooting the actual franchise. It's meant to focus about 10 years. No, 1994, 6 it came out. I'm sure it's a reboot.
I don't know.
I'm sure they're rebooting it. Even if they're not rebooting it.
I thought it was a sequel.
Why make it? Just leave it alone.
Bring it to a new audience.
No,
do you know, but the thing is though, right? If you feed the Jurassic World to some bright-eyed little kid that's only 8 years old and loves dinosaurs, you would make it dependent on the. No. You would, if they wanted to go to the cinema to see a film and they saw the trailers and they thought, oh my god, that looks amazing, then you would go to see the film. You could take them to see Jurassic World, and then when they come back and they're like, oh, I love dinosaurs even more, you would say to them, well, here's what I watched when I was wee. Take that, like, have a wee look at Jurassic Park. There's some wee scary bits in it. It's fine though. But again, that's introducing it to a new audience, and I think in general the idea of rebooting it gives creators a boost to create original content for existing franchises without being accused of selling out or being lazy. It's a chance to sort of. It's always a chance to reset and reinvigorate series, and you can keep content fresh, and you can keep it interesting.
But is it interesting? Is it when I sat?
Wait,
hold the phone, because you're reading this big script. When I watched Spider-Man 2, and Ken, like, he goes out and like his uncle dies and that, you're like, I've already seen this. I know, like, it's getting to the stage where they're actually rebooting series that we know the character anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We know what it is, so we don't have to fucking watch it again. It's like if I watch, apparently, like, Sean Bean is the highest killed actor on telly.
Aye,
right?
he always dies.
Do you know who's the character above that's been killed the most on telly? The Waynes, right? The Wayne family.
Really? Oh, well, there you go.
Right, they've been killed the most. But everyone knows that Batman's parents got killed. So if they were to make Dawn of Justice and have a flashback to Batman and being like, oh, his parents died and blah blah, let's watch it. No, I've fucking seen it so many fucking times. I know his parents died.
But then if you were looking at a Batman film, would you spend that much time on it? I don't think you would.
No,
there'd be no point
if
in
they
it.
do, man.
Oh God Almighty, yeah. But like, I mean, I think I could tread into gaming territory and mention Wolfenstein, which was a pretty successful remake.
Sure the
reboot.
best was of the films, but never mind.
Well, I'm going to keep on going at it. And there's stuff like Tomb Raider,
yeah,
which
Tomb Raider.
absolutely fantastic reboot of the franchise. And there's bits and pieces like that. But I think another sort of I think an important aspect of it is that if you're rebooting films and they are shite, all that's done if they make a profit, is served to make a profit that they can put into the new and original content. So I mean,
other reboots.
Or other reboots, but I mean, it's still profit that they're using to make other films. So, or line their pockets with a bit of each. But
I'll be honest, man. You've kind of shut my argument down because you went, oh, they rebooted Tomb Raider, which they did, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, one of the reboots.
Well, that was easy.
I think there's actually a lot of films like you're saying, like, the Batman movies and Superman movies, and like, they got rebooted. I loved all of them.
Well, exactly. I mean,
but you got to admit though, there is some reboots that are out there that
absolutely
are just utter pish.
And we've crossed over the line here now, and have ended the debate. And yeah, absolutely, there's reboots that have been absolutely god awful, but you know, it serves a purpose, and it's also tremendously annoying whenever you see reboots like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever. Fuck off, Michael Bay. Just fuck off.
Yeah. Maybe Transformers. That happened to Transformers as well, essentially.
Transformers is a reboot, yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That didn't like me. Didn't like me either. Man, I do actually like films, but every time we've mentioned, I'm like, no. Same with Godzilla. I wasn't a huge fan of Godzilla, the latest Godzilla movie either.
And that's another one that we'll leave for another day because I loved it. Okay, so
debate. We are for or against reboots?
I don't know. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think there's good points here and there, but again, let us know what you guys think, and we'll read your comments and argue about it ourselves. Unless you want to meet up for a pint with us, just give us a shout on
email,
on our email or Twitter. Twitter. Aye.
Instagram, which we'll get to.
What'd you get to? Yeah.
So let's ding this out, man.
Get a ding.
Let's ding this.
Get a ding. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, that's it. That's
another
it
one
for
done.
another podcast.
Another one done.
Yeah, another one done. So, if you've got anything you want to share with us, if you liked our podcast, if you just want to hurl abuse at us, you can contact us. So we're we're on the old interwebs. It's thedesertwales@gmail.com. We're on the Twitter, which is at the Desert Wales, and we're on Instagram as well, which is at the Desert Wales 2, which is very handy. It's not the Desert Wales 2. It's like the Desert at the Desert Wales
as well.
Aye, as well. I just fucked that up a little bit.
We have to create a new account, the Desert Wales 2 now.
Somebody go, where is it? Where is it? Oh my god!
If you're actually looking for us on Instagram, then well done.
Yeah, no, thanks. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to do that. I think you were going to finish off by saying something about the IT crowd.
Oh yes, it was. This goes back to the debate. I never actually got this. I wrote this down. This was a good one.
It's an interesting thing.
The IT crowd was rebooted in America, apparently, and was awful. I've never seen it, but apparently it was absolutely awful. And that sums up why reboots are bad, even though earlier on I agreed that they were good, but now they're bad again.
Exactly. So I think what we can all agree on is that I won that debate.
Okay.
So
I won as well. We both won.
It was just me that won though. And me. Okay.
So, well, say goodbye.
Yeah, thanks again for listening. That's cheerio from you.
And goodbye from me as well.
Yeah! Fuck that one up. Cheers.